What's up, guys? Carpool MMA. I'm back. Ian Parker. Welcome. Thank you guys for continuing to being part of this, subscribing and watching. A couple weeks ago, we did pretty well. Obviously, a couple fights didn't necessarily go our way, but for the most part, if you followed them to the T, and some of you guys messaged me directly, and I think we did well. We should have done better. Obviously, some fights, the Daniel Roberts, I didn't expect him to get knocked out by, Pereira, but obviously that guy's a maniac, and it played to his advantage. But it's all right. This is what's beautiful about betting in MMA. You could win a little bit, and you got to usually it's the week after. We had to wait for 2 weeks, so we're here. Boom. However, I'm going to disappoint you guys a little bit. I'm not going to be giving out a ton of picks because I don't really love this card. I do in the fact that, hey, it's MMA. We get to watch. Cool. But there's not a lot of great betting fights. And I don't want to just pick fights just to pick. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I know of all these guys, these Swedish fighters they put on the card. I don't. Some of them are new. And some of them, when they fight internationally, it's very hard to compare and see what it's like when they're fighting in some of these other American or Canadian organizations or even Brazil. So let's move forward. One of the fights I do like, Alexander, I think it's Rasic or Rakic. I apologize either way. Honestly, the pronunciation doesn't bother me. I know it bothers some of you guys. It bothers my buddy and co-host John Anik on the Anik and Florian show. By the way, if you guys tuned in Monday, it was a great show. Kenny and I made these picks. Starting to feel at home with that show, which is pretty cool. They were making fun of me a little bit. I think it's more out of fear that I'm going to beat Kenny this week. John ragged on me a little bit because I lost the Kevin Lee fight. Even though I won every other fight, apparently I was a disappointment because that was the one I missed. All good, though. So, Rakic versus Jimmy Manua. All right. My problem with betting on someone like Jimmy, although I'm a little shocked that the odds are as far apart as they are, and maybe I say this a lot because when I look at these type of fights, I look at the styles, and you got two guys that are both primarily strikers, but one with just a better ground game and probably a little bit better cardio and maybe just a little bit of a better fight IQ from what I've seen so far. With Jimmy, though, when he came into the UFC, including myself, I was excited. You got a guy with a striking resume like him. You're thinking that the technicality alone is going to be very challenging for some of these 205ers because at 205, outside of Daniel Cormier, John Jones, I'll even say Alexander Gustafsson, they got pretty good takedowns, like actual wrestling takedowns. Otherwise, most of the time it's in the clinch with some sweeps. Even a guy like Glover shoots in, whatever it is. As he's getting older, though, his stuff is a little bit more telegraphed. So with Jimmy, I was like, listen, if he could work on his takedown defense and keep it up and stay technical, he's going to do really well. And it was working for a little bit, but then all of a sudden he gets knocked out by this guy, he gets knocked out by that guy, and now we're just assuming that he's this fighter now that's either going to knock you out or get knocked out. And that's not who he was when he came to the UFC. And because of that, I don't like this matchup for him. I think his power is second to none. But when you're not technical and you're getting rocked as much, guys, he gets finished almost every fight that he fights when he loses, and Rakic is a really nice prospect. He's way more technical, and I even like his ground game. I think if he just plays this correctly, doesn't get emotional, doesn't get into a brawl, and doesn't take too much damage early on, either he could take Jimmy into deep waters and decision him. It's not that hard to do that. Jimmy's gas tank is not good. All right. Be technical. Even if you get tagged, don't start swinging. Get in, get out. And again, I'm not a coach, so I have fought before. I have trained. I've wrestled my whole life. I'm not the guy that's going to say to these guys, oh, this is how you should win this fight. I'm just saying, actual spin. I'm not the coach. I'm not the game plan. But based on what I've seen, you just don't brawl with Jimmy. If you don't brawl with him, Rakic is a really, like I said, a solid prospect. He's got enough tools that he should be able to get a decision. He may even finish him. But I think there's more paths to victory for him than there is for Manua, so I'm going with the prospect, Alexander Rakic, in that fight. All right, he is minus 220 right now. I'll go over the whole parlay situation at the end, but for the moment, I do like him. Tanya Evinger versus Lena Landsberg. Now, I really hate picking women's fights that are not bigger names because, again, at this level of the talent pool, it's more of an athleticism thing. However, here, I'm a little more intrigued. I like Tanya Evinger, all right? I kind of like, first off, she's been around forever and a day. The experience is there. She has fought literally way better competition than Lena Landsberg. Way better, okay? Landsberg is a fighter that cardio is pretty decent. She will put you against the cage and she will hold you there. Don't love her striking. It's nothing that Tanya hasn't seen before. mean, listen, what did Tanya just get destroyed by Aspen Ladd? She fought Cyborg, but she's had a lot of success, like in Invicta, against fighters way better than Lena as well. I think if Tanya just kind of forgets about the last few fights, she's getting an opportunity. She's minus 286. Don't love how high it is, but still not that bad. All right. If she kind of just plays into her game and goes out there and just says, you know what, I got to prove why I've been around for this long. I've been able to stick around this long, and the UFC kind of believes in me. Lena is kind of a good fight for her. I don't think Lena Landsberg is going to present anything that's going to put Tanya in danger. And that's where I'm going with this. I like Tanya Evinger in this fight. I think the experience, her striking is better, her ground game is better. I'm a little worried about the strength in the situation. Lena is a very strong fighter, which holds you against the cage, as you can see. Sometimes it's really hard to get out of there. Her striking has gotten a little better. I just think Evinger has seen way better level of competition, and I think that's the way to go. All right. Chris Fishgold versus Amir Khani. Tough one. Here's where I'm going with this. Amir Khani, again, I'm probably pronouncing his name a little fucked up right now because I'm a little a little rushed with time. I also don't give a shit. You guys can make fun of me all you want. You know who I'm referring to. Fuck you guys. But here's my thing. He has only fought like once a year in the last 3 years, and he's someone that he just hasn't really got to where we all expect he was going to go. You know, I expected way more at this point in his career, and he has moments where it's like, okay, this is why we've been waiting for. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the guy that everyone made a big deal out of. This is the prospect situation. Okay, I got it. But we haven't seen it yet. Like, literally nothing. Chris Fishgold is someone that has been kind of climbing up a little bit. He's been evolving, getting better and better. His cardio frightens me a little bit. In his last fight, after round one, he definitely had a little bit of an adrenaline dump, and he almost gave that fight away-ish. Not really. I was never like, oh my God, he's going to lose to Daniel Tamer, but, you know, Fishgold's got a real good opportunity here to go against a guy who is a very good athlete. I like Chris Fishgold here. It's minus 126, very reasonable odds. I think he may even win this by submission, all right? But I do like Chris Fishgold in this fight, all right? Let's bump this up to the co-main event, Volkan Oezdemir versus Ilir Latifi. I'm such a Latifi fan, but I cannot take him in this fight. You know, Latifi is a powerhouse. He throws power punches. He's an unbelievable wrestler, short, stocky. You know, he's just power across the board. He was like one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Power across the board. Here's the problem. He's running into a guy in Volkan Oezdemir who has fought literally the best in the division. Outside of John Jones, he fought DC, he fought Anthony Smith. You know, he's fought higher level. The Dominic Reyes fight, I don't know about you guys, and I like Dominic Reyes. He's got a huge future ahead of him. But Volkan won that fight. I don't know how they scored that for Dominic Reyes. A little confused by that one. So even though he lost, it showed me that Oezdemir still belongs at the top. And, you know, listen, he's gonna have a big reach advantage here. Okay? He's the better boxer, more technical. Power-wise, we know he's got power. More power than Latifi. Don't think it matters. I think because when Latifi throws that overhand right, it's always telegraphed, all right? I think Volkan has also fought better wrestlers like Daniel Cormier. You know, if I'm Volkan Oezdemir, it's not a crazy situation. It's watch for that overhand right. Don't get taken down, and I think he can win. I think he may finish this in the first round. Latifi does not have the best chin. He's been dropped enough that it concerns me against a guy like Volkan. Like I said, height advantage, reach advantage, speed advantage, I think goes to Volkan with the hands. So I'm going Volkan Oezdemir in this fight. Unless he gets taken down, and Latifi could pound the shit out of him in the first round. But you can see when it's not someone like Cormier, Volkan can get up pretty quick. But again, Latifi is a guy that he's got to get closer to take you down. He doesn't shoot in. His shots when he does are a little telegraphed. I may say that a lot, but it's true. You can see when a guy's able to mix it up and shoot in. He does not present those hands with combinations that are really threatening to the takedowns. So I think Oezdemir should be fine. I like Volkan Oezdemir. Main event, Alexander Gustafsson versus Anthony Smith. I love Anthony Smith, guys, but this fight is terrible for him. You know, listen, he wanted that John Jones fight at a certain date. It got bumped to a date that way later on or whatever, or earlier on, excuse me. And he said he wanted to take a break. What is it, 2 or 3 months later, he's getting thrown in with arguably the next best light heavyweight in the world. And Gustafsson's a monster. He's good everywhere. He's faster, stronger, probably better cardio. I think he is a very smart fighter. For Anthony Smith, he's used to having that height and reach advantage. Here, he does not have that. He's used to having a little bit of a speed advantage. He's not going to have that here. Strength-wise, he's not going to have that here. So this is a dangerous fight for him. And I don't like how fast, he mentioned he wanted time off. Instead, he's time on, and he's fighting Gus, and that's tough. Gus isn't so good. He's so well-rounded. Listen, losing to John Jones, apparently had a groin injury, didn't use it as an excuse, didn't really tell anyone about it. But look who he's lost to. He's lost to all guys that have either fought for the title or are the champ, between Rumble Johnson, DC, and John Jones. I think this is an easy win for Alexander Gustafsson, as long as he doesn't do something stupid. Like as long as he doesn't throw some crazy wheel kick and Anthony takes his back earlier on the fight where they're not slippery or he's still dry, or if he just, I don't know. I just don't see it happening. I love Alexander Gustafsson in this fight. If you guys want to do, so each one of those people, I'm comfortable you doing individually. If you want to parlay, Rakic, Evinger, and Gus. All right, guys? Only 11-minute video today. Like I said, it was quick. A couple things real quick. Mind blown about Frankie Edgar versus Max Holloway. I'm excited for the fight because, listen, it's still fucking Frankie Edgar. It's awesome. Do I think he really deserves it over? Does he deserve it based on his career? Yes. But if by saying that means we're throwing rankings out the window, which I don't really like. Do I think Alexander Volkanovski should have been the next contender? 100%. Guys won like 7 or 8 in a row, just beat Aldo in Brazil decisively, finished Mendez. It's hard to kind of take that away from a guy, and they are. But he'll get the winner if Max Holloway loses. If he loses, you guys know Holloway's getting a rematch, and then what do you do? If I was the UFC, I would have done Volkanovski versus Frankie Edgar. Reason why is that if Volkanovski wins, he just beat Mendez, Aldo, Edgar. That's awesome, okay? If Frankie Edgar wins, he just, forget Cub Swanson, he just beat the number 1 contender, and now it's way easier to justify it. I don't think you should ever have to say, oh, based on this guy's career, he's deserving. If that was the case, most of these guys don't want to get title shots. That's like saying based on Uriah Faber's overall career, he should have got a top 5 guy. No, he got Ricky Simone because Faber's UFC career has not been all that great. So we'll leave it at that. Some of you guys actually wrote me about Elias Theodorou, what I thought about him getting cut. I don't think he should have been cut. Granted, that fight was absolutely atrocious. Hey, we had Derek Brunson, so that worked. But, a guy loses once. I don't care how bad he performs. I don't think he should get cut. He's 8-3. He was an Ultimate Fighter winner. He has performed better. I think he should be allowed to obviously recognize how poorly he fought, which he did. And I also think they should allow him then to learn and evolve and get better, but they're not. So he'll probably end up in Bellator. I think he'll be fine there. If I was him, I'd wait and maybe go to PFL, go for the $1 million competition. But it is what it is. It's the UFC. I don't think anyone's going to lose sleep about him not being there. I think he still should be there. But again, it's not going to shake up the division all that bad. So on that note, let's win some money. If you guys get any questions, hit me up on Instagram. Or if you want to email me, it's ianparker411@gmail.com. Or you could hit me up on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you guys want. All right? Let's win some money, guys. Here we go.